Julio Jones failed to produce points in line with his draft position in 2017. John Bazemore, Associated Press, by Debuler, August 10 at 10:29 a.m. Email the author on Thursday. We examine 4 fantasy football stars from 2017 whose point totals appear to be unsustainably high for a variety of reasons. But 2017 also featured several players who appeared to be a little snack a bit last season and figured to have far more successful years in 2018 as their statistical averages progressed to the fantasy scoring mean. 4 former fantasy football studs who should drop off in 2018. Here's a look at 4 prime candidates to bounce back. Marcus Mariota, QB. Titans. Mariota slumped to just 13 TD passes in 2017, with 15 interceptions, after posting a 26-9 ratio the year before, but a bounce back could be in store. Mariota's TD percentage of 2.9 was not only far below the 5.1 and 5.8 he notched in his first 2 seasons, it was the worst of any QB who enters the season as his team starter, apart from then rookie Mitchell Trubisky, too. 1. Not only should progression help Mariota, so should a coaching change that ousted head coach Mike Exotic Smashmouth Mularkey and offensive coordinator Terry Robisky in favor of, respectively, Mike Vrabel and Matt LaFleur, the latter of whom comes over from the forward-thinking Rams. In turn, an uptick in offensive efficiency should also be a big help for Delanie Walker, who last season became just the 14th T to catch at least 70 passes, while scoring as few as 3 TDs, per Graham Barfield of Fantasy Guru. Julio Jones, WR, Falcons. Okay, he's never been an end-zone staple, having scored so many as 10 TDs in a season just once, but last year was ridiculous. Jones hit pay dirt just 3 times, despite otherwise turning 148 targets into 88 catches and 1,444 yards. Considering that he's working on a streak of 4 straight 1,400-yard seasons, Jones is likely to keep his yardage totals up, which means his TD total almost has to rise, and it's worth noting, as I did last month, that in his previous 5 healthy seasons, he averaged a respectable 7. 6 TDs. Based on historical data, receivers that go over 1,400 yards in a single season average 10. 7 receiving TDs in that year. Julio Jones scored 3 this year. Graham Barfield, at Graham Barfield, January 1, 2018. Devontae Parker, WR, Dolphins. Parker caught 57 passes for 670 yards over 13 games in 2017, but scored just once, which is fairly improbable for a 6'3", 220-pound receiver who theoretically should pose a problem for defenses on the red zone. As Pro Football Focus's Scott Barrett pointed out earlier this year, among 51 WRs who got at least 75 targets last season, Parker accounted for the NFL's lowest passer rating when targeted. That doesn't necessarily bode well for 2018, but it does leave a lot of room for improvement, and a QB switch back to Ryan Tannehill from Jay Cutler should help. When to draft the top fantasy football rookies for 2018. Ajayi, RB, Eagles. Parker's former teammate was traded after 7 scoreless games to Philadelphia, where in 7 more games he scored just twice, including just once on the ground, this after scoring 8 rushing TDs in 2016. A full offseason to become integrated into the Eagles' Super Bowl winning scheme, plus the departure of LeGarrette Blount, would seem to portend more trips to the end zone. In 2017, Ajayi only had 1 carry from the opponent's 5-yard line and none closer to the goal line, per Pro Football Reference, and that came with Miami. Meanwhile, the Eagles gave Blount 10 carries from inside their opponent's 5, and Philly's Corey Clement had 4 such attempts. Clement is still around, so he could get a piece of the goal line work Blount left behind, but Ajayi stands to get a few more shots at bowling his way into the end zone than he did last year. More fantasy football. The 50 Best Keeper League and Dynasty Commodities don't hesitate to take Saquon Barkley in the top 5. Colts tight end Jack Doyle is getting no respect in mock drafts. Tyreek Hill is going higher in mock drafts than he should be.